Now, congratulations, you found a home that you love. The loan officer is assuring us we are going to have a smooth sailing to closing. But we want to be sure the house you are buying is really good. It has good bones. All we can do when we go together is look at the outside and the surface, and we really don't have expertise in plumbing or electric or roofing. Who does that? We go to certified inspectors, home inspectors, and there are home inspectors and there are home inspectors that really know what they are doing. Wayne Blackburn is one of those. Wayne, can you tell us what happens when we call you and you tell us it will cost the buyer that much to do it and it will take that many hours and all this? Can you tell us what you do?
Sure, Kay. Thank you for having me here today. A professional home inspection is probably an invaluable asset for the buyer. It's the best way to know what you're buying or, in some cases, avoiding. The home inspection industry as we know it today is actually fairly young. The American Society of Home Inspectors, or ASHI for short, is the original professional home inspection organization in the United States. ASHI was founded in 1976 and has approximately 6,000 members today across the U.S. My top credential is ASHI's certification. I'm an ASHI certified home inspector and have been for several years. But basically when I get a call and go out to a home or a condominium, I'm going through the property systematically looking for defects or safety concerns, and I provide a professional report and photograph any areas of concern and present it to the client. So the client can decide, is this the right property for them? And if it is, what they need to deal with, or is it not the right property for them? And then they can proceed to find another property. In most cases, most buyers will purchase the homes that I inspect for them. But there are a few cases where they don't. And I've done as many as 3 to 4 inspections for one person before they found the right property for them. So it's really a great way to learn about what you're buying. And the benefit of that is protecting yourself financially and your loved ones or guests from a safety standpoint. Because if you don't know what you're buying, you're basically setting yourself up for potential financial disaster or otherwise. So it's a great way to learn what you're buying.
Now, I know I have few deals that fell out of escrow with inspections that you did for me. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, it was really good. I was happy because I wouldn't want my client to buy something that is defective, where in some situations he found that the soil is not stable, and other areas where there can be rocks falling on the structure. Other situations, I think you found electric not in tube or something like that.
Knob and tube.
Knob and tube.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah, right. So what do you inspect in the house? We put you in the house and you say, I will be here for 3 hours or whatever. What do you go over exactly? What are the highlights? And if you find the house that you don't find anything wrong, do you feel funny about going back and saying, oh, the house is good and I'm still taking the money, or what?
Well, those are both very good questions. When I'm asked to inspect a home as an ASHI certified inspector, I'm actually required to look at several areas of the home. It's a systematic inspection of the various systems and components according to the highest professional home inspectors standards in the nation as set forth by the American Society of Home Inspectors. In the case of a single-family home, I typically have a routine, and wherever possible I try to stick to it. On a single-family home, I typically start with the roof and do the exterior. I look at the grounds. I look at doors and windows, and I typically inspect the garage next. Sometimes the electrical system panels are there, and there's also a main panel outside. That both of those areas are thoroughly inspected. And then when I go to the inside, I usually try to get all the mechanical systems cleared up first. I'll inspect the kitchen, very much like a homeowner would operate the kitchen. I check the cabinets, I look at, well, homeowners not typically looking at plumbing issues underneath the sink, but I evaluate all of those areas. I actually operate the appliances to make sure they're going to function properly when the homeowner moves in. I put it through its paces, if you will. And then from there, I branch out and just go room by room and look at it structurally, electrically. I look at the interior components, doors and windows, interior finishes, not so much from a superficial cosmetics point, but if there's a stain on a wall or a ceiling, I'm going to take a moment to evaluate that, because that could be a plumbing leak or a roof leak or so forth or so on. So it's a very thorough, methodical evaluation of the systems and components throughout the home and property. And that's the difference between a superficial home inspection or home inspector and a thorough home inspector. A thorough home inspector might spend 3 to 4 hours in a modest single-family home, whereas a superficial inspector will probably be there about an hour. A thorough home inspector might mention knob and tube electrical wiring in a house, but take it a step further and talk about, why is this system obsolete based on modern standards? Why is this unsafe when compared to modern standards? Whereas a superficial home inspector might mention that the house has knob and tube, but stop there and not go into that detail. They may not have the knowledge, they may not understand the risks, so forth and so on. So that's the difference, and that's why a buyer wants to understand the difference between home inspector credentials, because they do differ tremendously. And a buyer should do everything they can to hire the most thorough, experienced home inspector they can possibly find. You only have one shot to get the home inspection right. So it's critical to do it right the first time, because if you don't, there can be consequences. A lot of people put every penny they have into buying a home. It's often the most expensive purchase they'll ever make in a lifetime. So it's critical to have the home inspection done properly, so the buyer has a chance to deal with any potential issues before they close and before they own it. Because after the fact, it may be too late. They may not have $10,000 for that new roof. So that's the risk.